If you pay me, I couldn't tell you. I got some guesses, but I can't tell you. But that device I was just on, the camera on it just refuses to work. Isn't that something? I'm trying to be cool. Because thanks to us having that second full moon, shout out to the blue moon we just had. I'm cramping like a mug. So I can't wait to get in this chair. I'm gonna go in there as soon as I get through doing a couple of things. But I just really started the device. Let me see what's going on. If not, I'm just gonna restart the live and use just switch devices. It's like as soon as that happened, the cramps just kicked in big time. Yeah, camera's not working. Hmm, interesting. And let me make sure it's gonna do other things like playing. That way I'll just switch up the devices I'm using. Swallow the soft. Hold on a second. I think I'll just rename this and go from there. And let me see how it's sounding because the microphone is distorted on this one. So I really need to be shopping for another phone. I guess we're gonna make that a priority for when I'm actually off. Okay. So you're able to hear me, which is good. You're good. Wow. When I tell you them crowds didn't kick in until this camera went out, I kid you not. And being challenged right now, guys. Big time. You know, somebody fucking with me. Big time. In a lot of ways. But this ain't my first rodeo. It's like chat boo. Some of us expect to have just a that's you always in battle. Because that's your position. That's your calling, that's your life, that's your whatever. Um, trolls, you out of here. Okay. And let me see. I need to change the subject. So then I can say, hey, when you come in here, make sure you're on subject. So give me a second. 11 years on YouTube. As soon as I clicked on my thing, it said, oh, congratulations on your 11 years. Give me a little bit, y'all. And we're gonna get back to the topic. And don't tell me it's not gonna let me edit it. Well, of course not, because I'm in my mod channel. I gotta get back to my own channel. Okay, there we go. So, you know, obstacles, obstacles. And what else? Okay, I'm not new to this, baby. True to this, baby. So, hey, do what you do, I do what I do. for whenever and whoever needs to hear it. Whatever it is that keeps coming for me. So I just was able to see the live, and now I can't see it. Hi, everybody. Please give me a second. And we'll get a couple of these trolls out of here. Hey, give me a second. I'm gonna check y'all comments and everything. Let me get this live together because I was just live on when I wanted to talk about, and the camera went out on that device. So I had to switch devices. And okay, what was that? All right. So it's just not gonna let me edit it. Well, why? I thought we could do that. Hmm. It's treating me as if this is not my actual channel and my actual. That's so weird. Oh gosh. I'm talking about my cramps kicking every time. And I'm about to go to the gym. Now, I have not been back in a gym in a while, aside of my home gym, working out outside and in the truck and stuff like that. I haven't been in the gym. I'm talking about where the weights are in a long time. But I definitely got to get back to that. And today of all days, right? Ooh, yeah. But I got to get back on my stuff because I wouldn't even be PMSing. I wouldn't even be experiencing difficulties. Like I really am about to scream, making me want to just pull my heat pad out and just plug it in, put it on my stomach, and just maybe I can cry because nobody can hold me and baby me, feed me ice cream. Jeez, but I'm going in that gym. Open up. All right. So, anywho, it won't let me change it. But being that I'm trying to make good use of time because I am early. No, tomorrow. Which thoughts? But I knew I didn't want to go anywhere. So I don't have a schedule. It's just being all over the place. And I take cat naps, but I don't really sleep. So I'm talking about the Naziyah Harris case and Jarvis Butts and the house of horrors she lived in and her grandma and all that. And I know y'all, some of y'all who just don't follow the case like that are like, oh, excuse me, mm, coffee. I know some of y'all like, isn't the case over? Blah blah blah. Absolutely not. Not for a lot of us because of just the things we know, and we don't know what happened to Naziyah. We really don't. We don't have concrete evidence that she's no longer with us. I believe some people don't, and I'm not ruling that out. Personally, I'm not completely ruling that out, but it was unless they was able to successfully sell her, which I do think is possible. Just like I was talking to y'all yesterday about how Krishan was trying to sell her kid, it's definitely possible. And would they be? They're definitely into in they're that devilish and into that whole all of that. So that is possible, and she would never surface again. My theory is that her body was destroyed. I have just ways that I believe that they could have done that, but I don't necessarily have anything that leads me to exactly how. Not right now. But I do believe that if she is deceased, we won't find a body because the body is they destroyed the body. I did watch the preliminary hearing. Somehow I missed King was on a ankle bracelet. And so I'm just finding that out today. So now I'm kind of understanding why people weren't adamant about King quite possibly having a hand in what happened to her. So I get that because you all caught what I missed, and that's that he actually was an ankle bracelet, so you had to go home. Okay, we can do that. But um, King says when he left, it was just Jarvis and Naziyah was alive. That's what he says. Just because he was on an ankle bracelet and he had to get home doesn't mean he left and it was just them two there, or he left and it was them two there and she was alive. Doesn't mean Naziyah was alive, or it was all good, or allegedly, whatever. Okay? Okay, good. I want to talk about the House of Horrors that Naziyah lived in. Okay. For the speculation that goes on outside of people who are really into this case, Naziyah absolutely was pregnant. There's no doubt about it. If you watch the preliminary hearing, you know she's pregnant. If you saw the videos of her being pregnant, you know she's pregnant. I can show you two, maybe three videos. Yeah, three of her clearly looking pregnant, and maybe a couple more. Something's poking me. A couple more of her being pregnant, but it doesn't show her face. But if you've seen enough TikToks of her, you know uh, her when you see it. Plus, just context that I have been in with, and I'll talk about that in another video. That absolutely verifies she was pregnant. They knew she was pregnant. It wasn't a secret. They didn't find out during the trial. They didn't find out at the preliminary hearing. She was visibly, clearly pregnant. No doubt about it. And we know Jarvis was messing with her. That's not in question, as he was messing with a lot of children. I want to talk about these chicks, the Jarvettes, um, but not in this video. But I would like to say it is sickening to me to see so many women saying they feel sorry for these chicks and stuff like that. Chicks who we could see throughout this, and we could see at the preliminary hearing, didn't care a bit about Naziyah. And now that we're hearing these tapes, we know they didn't care about Naziyah, and we heard things that we wish we hadn't heard from them to absolutely prove that they could care less about Naziyah. How could y'all feel sorry for them? Okay, but saving that for another video. I just wanted to put that out there because I'm seeing a lot of that in you're them, in my opinion. The same chicks that allow things to happen to children and you still worship the man, want the man, hide for the man, help the man, all this kind of stuff. They saw her as the other woman. They didn't care about her at all. Yet you're comparing who's the prettiest and you feel sorry for them. And y'all are saying you feel sorry for the same chick who came on here and did a phone interview and said she was only talking to Jarvis because She was trying to find out what happened to Naziyah. She's telling us that, and we supposed to believe that. We heard all the calls. They're not they're the police are saying, which I don't believe them, that there's no more calls when it comes to his sentencing and close, right? Because he passed allegedly. But within a week or two after he was sentenced, they're saying in 2026 and what 2025, I believe, there's no calls, no jail calls. So we believe no one spoke to him. This all happened fast. This is a short time frame. After listening to those calls, and everybody worshipped him, idolized him, looked up to him, knowing that he's in there because the police is saying, hey, he was sleeping with this girl. He got her pregnant. And da, 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 da. But let's keep in mind, everybody knew the monster that he was already. So they liked the guy. They wasn't shocked too much. And nobody questioned it. Hours and hours and hours and hours. Nobody. In fact, what the chick say? You didn't do it. I know you didn't do it. The auntie. I know you did. I know you did. Naziyah's mother is wasn't there. I guess she had other children we don't know about. I don't know, but we know that Naziyah and her slightly older brother was adopted by her grandma, Naziyah's mom, right? When Naziyah was missing, it took them a couple of days or so before they even went to the police, reported it or whatever. And we have actual proof that they were saying she probably was out there chasing DICK. But she never ran away before. And we all know that they knew that that man was messing with her. But it just doesn't stop and start there. How many people was grown men was messing with that 13-year-old little girl? Let's do this quickly because I got things to do now. Okay. Okay, so I had it ready on the other. Go back here. Some of y'all may have seen this video of Naziyah. She liked to do TikToks. Some of y'all may have seen this TikTok of her. She's doing her little TikTok dance. And there is some creepy old man sitting on the bed, and then he grabs her, pulls her over to him, and start kissing on her. And she's smiling for the camera, trying to do a TikTok, and trying to play it out, but also trying to get out from his grasp. And he's kissy and affectionate, and it looks weird. Now, I'm gonna take a closer look here. I hope it didn't get deleted because I know I saved it. I have a lot of saved stuff on her from a long time ago that I forgot. Yeah. Okay, okay. But I'm gonna stick to just a few things I wanted to point out. All this footage. Okay. Well, I'll show you this real quick. So this is little Naziyah. Yeah, like doing her little TikTok. And we got one where she's pregnant. Wearing black, right? Because that makes sense to try and cover that up. But you can see the difference here. If you really are able to look, you can see that belly. You can see she's pregnant. You can see that. You can see that. And some of us also notice locks on the refrigerators at her grandma's house in these videos. We're gonna talk about that. So I don't see the video. Let me go to the group. I literally just somebody didn't delete that video that quick. Why would they delete it? Okay, here it is. Why you want to kiss on her like that while she doing her TikTok? Let's say you just uncle or somebody. Why you want to do that? Was that necessary? You trying to embarrass her in front of her friends? Like, what would be? Let's try to come up with a reason. And your Budweiser in your hand, and you sitting on a baby, and you ain't her daddy. I looked at this video and I just started studying everything. I said, where they at? In his room? The bed looked like either a maid did it or somebody from the military. Then I look at him what he's wearing, the color and everything. I said, maybe he used to be military. Maybe he made his own bed. Then I say, this man look like his pants is unbuckled and open. I'm gonna have to slow it down. I do that some other time and I come back because I want to just get through this. But it looks like that's what I'm seeing. I see his belt open and hanging, and I doubt y'all gonna be able to see that from me. But maybe you can. Let's see. You can see his belt there. So, and then from the bulge and stuff, the way it is, it looks like his pants is undone and open. We know that belt is undone and open. And he pulling her close like that and trying to kiss on her. And why you doing that girl like that? Some people can look at this and see it as innocent affection, but not to a lot of us, especially knowing what we know and about the situation, right? So I'm looking at the comments of the ladies in the group, and it's some men there too, but most all the comments I'm seeing are saying it just don't. I don't like it. It don't seem right. Something is wrong, and why he got a beer in his hand? Why is he sitting on the bed? You know, all this, everything we're not liking about this. And they pissed. And she was uncomfortable, blah, 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 right? Who wouldn't be? Uh, and there's more information about this man. Because mind you, a lot of people in this group have been deep in his case. Some people have spoken to some family members. Some people have gotten information, blah blah. So that's what we do. We share information, resources, things like that. So I can't 100% on anything that I'm about to say, but it's what's being, and she says, pants wide open. Okay, so his pants is open. She took a screenshot. It does. The shirt is over it. The shirt is over his pants, but you can clearly tell that his pants is open, and that's why the bulge is the way that it is. Further information. Okay, she says it was in a bedroom. He's sitting on the bed. He's also making sure she was between his legs. I watched the video over and over, getting pissed off. I think all of us watched it over and over, just trying to figure out what the freak. Um, so what's being said is that this is the grandmother's brother. Okay, I see a comment that says dancing for money. That really disturbed me because I can see that because of some other things that I'm going to share. Okay, somebody else. I know I'm not tripping. I saw it too. So other people are seeing his pants are open. What's being said? He's a three-time sex offender as well. Okay, shouldn't be around children, of course. I'm trying to find the thread. It may be in a different. And he's a tier three. Where it said that they're supposed to be in a hotel, or maybe it was a different time. I'm not sure, but he did or would pay the grandma to take Naziyah to. From what I know and from what we are seeing in this video, that is likely to be true. Now, if you guys watch the interrogation and Jarvis was asked about why these girls always come into the shop. And he was talking about the girls was always calling him, harassing him, asking him for money. Girls being his daughter. He also was convicted of y'all should know the rest. Her and Naziyah would call him a lot, asking him for money. He said, "Oh, I can't just be giving y'all money like that. But y'all come to the shop, do some work, maybe clean up or whatever." So they were always at that shop. Little girls at a shop all the time. Ain't no work there for them to do at such a young age, 12, 13, 11, 12, something like that at the time. To be at no shop, but men go and work on cars and stuff. Uh, then there's this post by one of the cousins of Naziyah. I know TD McNutt is not posting. Okay, here's one of the posts she made here when she was calling them out. So she posted this January 7th, 2023. And this was Kenya, Kenya. If you know who she is, you know who she is. Family. She says he not a what? And he don't like young girls? How old is he? He's born in 1982. No, 1982, you was born. She's addressing something, right? His first wife divorced him because he was molesting his daughter. Facts. Look, I've talked about this, but I'm not gonna get to it in this video. He got his butt beat by some little girl family members because he was touching on her as well. Now we all know for a fact hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of verified victims that are of Jarvis that he has, right? And of course, there's so much more. He's likely a lifetime. Okay. And she posted his record, his offender record, and everything. Um, because she's just calling him out. Y'all knew that. So she also posted this, and this was well, it's 2 years ago. Say 2 years. She said, "I'll be at your church," and that the grandma to tell them how you threaten all the girls not to say a word to anyone. And it was told that Annette was mean, and she told the children not to tell about the things that were happening to them. We got to talk about that more. She had a couple of there's somebody and I said they put a oh gosh, but she basically was calling it out. And so shout out to okay, here it is. Naziyah Harris went missing January 9th, 2024. So Kenya posted this January the 7th of 2023 on Facebook, and I'll read it to you. So Shannon Kidd's father offered his own daughters and someone else's daughter money to, I'm going to try to say this appropriately because these are children, to perform on him, right? Still, it's no way we can say this is still bad. He has been in prison for R-wording a 13-year-old girl. And since Shannon don't want to raise the children on her own, she told her children that they wouldn't, so they wouldn't get him in trouble. Um, she told her kids that so they wouldn't get him in trouble. Shannon would rather lay up with the kid's father than to protect them from a child. Blah blah blah. And hey, there's more. Lady is so messed up because Annette, the grandma, did not believe her. Shannon is Annette's daughter, which is the mother of five of Jarvis's children, and the oldest of their children is also one of the children who we heard testify at the preliminary hearing, and he was convicted of, uh, you know, uh, violating her for a long time. Okay. Hey, there's more. The lady is so messed up because Annette did not believe her when Annette's husband, Charles, was R-wording her. Swept that under the rug. So there you have it. Runs in the family. Child blank blank is okay at the Harris residence. Some of us know all too well what this is like, generation after generation, right? Unfortunately, too many know about this, men and women. Don't you start, tell me we're not doing that. Well, I'm gonna have to stop because yeah, I think it's Motrin prescription. Mm. Let's see. Okay, and it's a holier than thou Annette. She knew about Jarvis. Don't call me out when I talk. Okay, people post and they just don't even care. When I talk any something, I get the facts. If you don't have the whole story, and shut the fuck up. Okay, basically, I guess she's talking to other people because someone is in the comment section saying, "Y'all really need to stop. This is ridiculous," and she's like, "It's okay. They start, and I will definitely finish it." And she also said to the lady, "Hey, they're not related to you." So, yeah. So she also posted January the 7th, 2023. Individuals that protect child blanks or and frighten their own children to not tell the truth is an absolute disgrace. And not only that, still allow him to be around is sickening. We know Shannon been knew long before Naziyah got pregnant, long before she got missing, that Jarvis was doing this. And her own daughter, and Naziyah came to her and told her, "Hey, Jarvis tried to get us to sleep with him. We don't know exactly what she told them." Um, and some probably do have that information, but we know she didn't protect them. We know all about that. We know how that went. We know CPS was called. We know they went to another aunt. She called. They tried, and CPS did not do their part. Okay, don't forget that. So this entire time, and as we listen to these calls between Shannon and Jarvis, and the "I love you" and "I know you didn't do it" and this and that and third, mind you, as you listen to police calls with Shannon, now Shannon Sharp, but Buffalo hippopotamus Shannon. Let me show a picture of Shannon. I got one post on that. Three of them on the back of that. I'm gonna show a picture. Oh, these two pieces. And I guess this is a they want to pay homage to their brother. So they took a picture with him. That's it. Shannon, the one in the blue or the one in the purple? Yeah, because Jarvis had on a matching purple suit. I like them blue shoes though, girl. Hmm. So let me go back on that one other post that was connected. She said, when does that? Let's see. What else was she saying? She was going on that day, didn't she? Okay, this is January the 8th, 2023. At the end of the day, this information was brought to me to help with the situation. You decided to respond on Facebook as if you thought you was going to be able to control this. Your negative response blew this wide open. The stupider mm, your post was, the bigger mine became. People who allow children to be compromised by an adult needs to be prosecuted, period. And what's done in the dark is swept under the rug will see the light be uncovered. So Shannon Nance was being called out by her, I believe King Ken's her niece or her cousin, back when this case was just starting to pop off. So she, shout out to her, even though we know the rest. Those who know. She came out, she called her out on this, like, yo, Charlie, you fuck. And I told y'all, Jarvis and them was working with the police, the ones who supposed to protect the children, and still are, of course. But some people live in fantasy land, and they don't believe that it can be so. Okay, so let's go here. So here's a piece of a document that was posted. Matter of fact, let me go to the full document. Right. State of Michigan Court of Appeals. Unpublished May 20th, 2026, 10:30. Pages. Hmm. Okay, in Reed of Harris and Myers. And this is the Family Division Circuit Court. So respondent appeals the right. It's very tiny. So okay, the right. By right, the order terminating her parental rights to her children. AH and ZH under, and they put the codes or whatever. AH, Zanaya, that's the daughter that he Other than Annette Harris, who is AH? Annette is grown, so well, Annette is the grandma. So who is AH? Maybe another child she adopted because she had foster children. How? I don't know. Too many offenders over there, right? Okay. Under this code, child or sibling of the child. Maybe it's her brother, Naziyah's brother. Because although he's not there anymore, he's still in her age, I believe. And she has adopted him. So the child or sibling of the child has suffered physical injury. So it's got to be her, I think. Physical abuse or sexual abuse, and the parent who had opportunity to prevent injury or abuse failed to do so. Although financially able, the parent failed to provide proper care, custody, and reasonable likelihood the child will be harmed if returned to parent. We affirm. So they're saying this decision stands. You can appeal if you want. Me, y'all remember this heifer got on stage at the victim impact at his sentencing, and she was saying, crying, I done lost so much money. I found everything she was saying to be crazy, inappropriate, and just like the audacity. But when she was talking about she lost money, but you scared to go to work because they was out there at your house. I can see that. But that's kind of where my head was going. Uh-uh. Mm-mm. She was a professional, uh, I guess, foster mom or something. She was getting them children, get money for them and all that. So she lost these children and she lost the money that comes with it. And that's what she was crying about. And that was her. People call me names, threaten me. That's what she's crying about. Within, right, because you a monster. Mm, mm. I wonder what was supposed to be done about that you sat up there and cried about. You could have got your ass up there and cried and said, my grandbaby slash daughter is gone, taken away from us. You could have put on a show for that. But it's good. Show us what you got. So it says factual and procedural background. Respondent is the adopted mother of AH and ZH, and her now deceased daughter NH, which is Naziyah Harris. Respondent has a grown biological daughter, Shannon, Hippo, Shannon, who has her own children with Jarvis of Butts. In 2012, Respondent and Shannon learned, okay, the grandma who adopted them and her Hippo daughter, Shannon, learned in 2012 that Butts had been previously convicted of criminal sexual assault against children and was a registered offender. Despite this knowledge, respondent allowed Shannon Butts and their children to live in their home with AZZH and NH. She also allowed her children to have repeated unsupervised contact with Butts. In January of 2024, Naziyah Harris did not return home from school. Police believe that Butts was the last person to, we knew for a fact he was, and eventually that did show, right? In court. She was the last person, and she was with Jarvis. Okay. Naziyah Harris was presumed deceased, and Butts was charged and bound over first degree murder and first degree criminal sexual, conduct. After Naziyah Harris's disappearance, some of the respondents' family members accused Butts of sexually assaulting Naziyah Harris and other children living in her home. As a result, petitioner, the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services, DHHS initiated the instant action seeking to terminate respondents' parental rights, as they should, but should have been. Okay, this is like it's out of order because middle of all right, that's page one, then that's page three. Page two. Okay. After respondent pleaded no contest to the allegations in the petition, the trial court assumed jurisdiction over the children and found that there were statutory grounds to terminate the respondent's parental rights as noted above. Then, during the best interest hearing, evidence was introduced. This is so tiny. Evidence was introduced that in addition to Buck's sexual abuse, AH was sexually abused by another child living in respondent's home. That explains a lot. And that when AH told respondent about this abuse, respondent failed to take any action. AH and ZH, which we know ZH is Zanaya, Jarvis's daughter, right? Also reported that the respondent physically abused them. Really quick. Y'all remember the brother's testimony, Naziyah's brother's short not testimony, sorry, interview that he did that one time, and he was asked, did he know about Jarvis messing with his sister, uh, see anything, and he was like, no, he really didn't know. He also said he didn't know she was pregnant, but he had left. He ran away from home. Apparently, she's had a lot of children run away from home, including her biological children. But he said he didn't notice anything. He didn't know. Hmm. What's up, Tom? I hope y'all can hear me because I forgot to turn the thing on. I might as well turn it off because the AC is starting to get cold. All right. Let's see what's today. Okay, 24 hours. I'm good. In his interview, he talked about a time where he came over to visit and he pulled up and his sister was in a car with Jarvis. And he said he pulled up on Jarvis so fast. And he tried to address him. He's a kid, he's a child, he's a teenager. Jarvis is a big, tall, grown man who think he rule the world. If you listen to the tape, child, yeah, in his world, everybody bowed down to him, right? So, um, my heart goes out to the brother. He tried to stand up for his sister, and it just wasn't no wins there. He talked about how that altercation went, and it was hard to listen to. And he was saying that he was telling his sister to get out the car, and of course she wasn't listening. Okay, what is that? So, um, she of course was not going to do that. Now, if all that happened, it happened for a reason, clearly. But everybody can't talk about these things. They do the best they can. Wow. He was. I think he said he left shortly or probably directly after that. He was pretty heated, and it's just heartbreaking because he's always gonna feel like, damn, I wish I could. I wish I was a little bit taller. I wish I was, you know. But what can he do? he could only leave, and I'm pretty sure he always thought he was gonna come back for a sister. I get older, I get my shit, I get, get us a place, blah blah blah. Maybe we'll hear from him again, and hopefully he's doing great. But wow. Okay, so where was I? Okay, AH was sexually assaulted, he blank assaulted, abused by another child living in respondent's home. And when AH told respondent about this abuse, respondent failed to take action. AH and ZH also reported that respondent physically abused them, aka Annette Harris, the grandma. So she put her hands on him. Uh, the trial the trial court ultimately found that termination was in the children's best interest, and the appeal followed. It's crazy. It took this to happen for the children to get free, but look what they suffered. We review a trial court's best interest determination for clear error, and they're bringing up another reference case. A finding of fact is clearly erroneous if reviewing if the reviewing court has a definite and firm conviction that a mistake has been committed, giving the regard to the. She tried to appeal this, man. I just can't. Okay, I had a special opportunity to observe the witnesses, bringing up another case. All right, they're citing. All right, so the analysis. Respondent contends that the trial court erred by determining that termination was in her children's best interest, and we disagree. Listen, how dare you sit up there and try to contest this? I wouldn't, because look at all that has come out. So we know, boom, you failed Naziyah. Now, everybody's not going to know about the drama on Facebook and the people calling you out, stuff coming out, and things like that. But what the public know is Naziyah went missing. She was pregnant by that man. That man did this. And y'all somehow are going to act like you didn't know none of this. None of this. Then we see the preliminary hearing. And so we understand, especially with the text messages, that y'all knew. And we also understand and we saw the conversation y'all was having about her while she was missing. She out there being fast and this and that. Y'all ain't tripping on it. None of that. You wasn't trying to report her until people got fire under your ass. Because y'all knew what happened to her. We know that now. We know y'all absolutely already knew what happened to her. And that you been sent and been read the messages between Naziyah and her baby daddy. So knowing all that, you gonna come on here and try to tell the court that you want the children back? Why? Because that money, you're used to it and you don't want to let it go. So the children, your granddaughter, and AH, I'm believing is her brother, told the courts what was going on. And you still want to come up here and try to appeal it. Girl, you can't find no other way to make money. You can't be serious. You deserve everything anybody DM'd you or whatever you was crying about in court. They called me names. They had my DM calling me names and saying stuff about my family. Where's the lies at? Where the lies at? So they disagree with you, honey. So they say the trial court must order the parents' rights terminated. And if DHHS has established statutory ground for termination by clear and convincing evidence, and it finds them from a preponderance of the evidence that the whole record on the whole record that termination is in the children's best interest. They just repeating and repeating. They said we standing down on the girl. So they mentioned these cases again. The focus at the best interest stage has always been on the child and not you and your check, pretty much. Not the parent. So, when determining whether termination is in the child's best interest, the court should consider a wide variety of factors that may include the child's bond to the parent's ability to parent, the child's need for permanency, stability, and finality, and the advantages of foster home over the parent's home. And the trial court may consider a parent's history of domestic violence. Now, the parent's compliance, with his or her case service plan. Now, the parent's visitation history with the child, the children's well being while in care, and the possibility of adoption. And they're bringing up another case to reference. But it's mainly the same case they're using. This is Miller 347 Mitch, 420, 425, 15, and a whole bunch of other numbers. Not like y'all gonna look this up, but just in case you want to. You go find this on Facebook? I don't care. Uh, we're just gonna get to it. All right. On appeal, respondent argues that termination was not in the children's best interest. It's people that see these people out on the streets. It's people that see them at the grocery store pass by sometimes. Slap me. No, we don't. I'm just. I was talking about a cartoon I saw. Shoot. On appeal, she said, no. The trial court failed to give adequate weight to respondent's engagement with her caseworker and participation in individual therapy and parenting. There was no evidence presented regarding Butt's conduct. Respondent's history of adoption demonstrated, now I gotta go back to 3, that she was a fit parent. This is what her arguments. And that AH's kids talk interview, that's what that interview was. A clip from a formal court interview. Her brother. I did not know that. Maybe. Okay. I'll say that out loud. Okay. So AH's kids talk interview was not admitted, but could have proven that AH was not sexually abused and did not confide in respondent about the abuse. Now, again, I hadn't read all of this before I said what I said in this video. I paused and I told you about her brother. I told you about the interview I saw. I saw it on the internet, and it was very very short. And I was like, damn, there's got to be more to it. And I was like thinking, who is this he interviewing? I think it was a white lady. And I was like, why is he interviewing with them? And then there's got to be more. Just I had all these questions and thoughts. But he said he didn't know she was pregnant. He said he didn't know she was being abused in that way by Jarvis, but he told a story about the car and his sister and Jarvis and him approaching. So that tells me, as I already stated. But again, he's a teenager, and it's not like he want to sit there and say to this lady, this was going on, and this happened to me, and blah blah blah, and blah 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 blah. So she is trying to use that interview as part of her rebuttal. That interview didn't say that he said he was abused, and blah blah blah. Okay, so that didn't work because he we just read that he reported to them. He reported. He told him and Zanaya. Okay, Zanaya, bless her, she did a lot of Good. So proud of this. Um, First, even though the respondent was engaged with her caseworker and attended visits, that's the real hero to me. I'm always say that. Uh, Janiyah, right? Yeah, Janiyah. She been going hard in the paint for a while. All right. First, even though respondent has about to wait a minute. First, even though respondent was engaged with her caseworkers and attending visits, this did not outweigh the far more severe factors weighing in favor of termination. For example, the record indicates that while communicative respondent continually refused to take accountability for the abuse that her children suffered. And while respondent did attend visits regularly, the children themselves did not want to attend because they were afraid of her. Moreover, while respondent argues that she was an individual therapy, there's no record and evidence confirming that, and even failed to protect her children from harm and abuse and neglect. So, second, the record believes that respond. Imagine if we had all had this and read this and knew this when we was watching her on this stand with the fake tears. Now we was already saying what we was saying about her. The girl, bye and get your butt down. And we ain't falling for it. And boo hoo. And look, you ain't saying nothing about Naziyah. It's all about you. Okay. I, but we knew stranger eyes, right, would be looking at, oh gosh, she's going through all this because they don't know any better, right? Because everybody don't get into cases. They just happen to see it and be like, oh, okay. And then you just think that things are what they appear. All right. Everybody watch people get obsessed. All right. You can't let them be admired. You got to act. It's stars. Tricks. That's me. Crazy. Oh, crazy. Oh, crazy. Oh, can't break them. I know everybody don't got that problem. All right. It's still time, child. Okay, let me see if I find where I was at. It seems like it's harder to see now. All right. It doesn't diminish. She didn't help the children. Okay, basically. Um. All right. Second, the record believes respondents claimed that there was no evidence presented below regarding Butts' conduct. Oh, belied. Belied. Okay, good, good, good. I was like, what? So the petition extensively details several allegations of abuse perpetrated by Butts and further alleged that the respondent ignored Butts' status as a registered offender as early as 2012. In addition, there were reports from AZ and ZH and another relative about Butts' misconduct. Now, third, the fact that the respondent underwent training and was approved to be an adoptive parent before her children were assaulted. It does not diminish the fact that once the children were in her care, she knowingly allowed a registered offender to live with them and spend time with them unsupervised. Respondent's status as an adoptive parent does not excuse her subsequent abusive and neglectful conduct towards her children. Now, finally, respondent's speculation that the Kids Talk interview could disprove AH's claims of abuse does not negate, sorry, the credible evidence weighing in favor of her termination. I would love to find that full interview, but it's good if it's not out there because everybody don't need to start sharing it around. But it doesn't matter what he didn't say. We understand why he wouldn't just be saying all that. And good thing that didn't work for her. Let's just say that. Okay. Both AH and ZH reported that the respondent whooped them, according to ZH, Zanaya. He was even hit so hard in the face that he bled. They said he, so maybe when they put ZH, they meant to put AH because ZH will be Zanaya. Or you know what? I'm just gonna use the abbreviations because now that I think about it, I don't know. I could be off. It could be because Zanaya is Shannon's child. Okay, so ZH might be. I don't know. Okay, I'm confused right now, but they gonna get me straight, or somebody will know. Come in chat, whatever. Um. Okay, he was hit so hard that he bled in his face, and AH also reported. Yeah, because they're saying it backwards. They're saying he and then she. AH also reported that she was repeatedly sexually assaulted by another child in the home. AH told the respondent about the abuse and the abuse. It's so small it's all just start together. Okay, told respondent, that would be Annette's punk ass. That she was repeatedly abused by another child in the home, and she did nothing to stop it. ZH corroborated the allegations, claiming that he witnessed the abuse firsthand. Additional evidence submitted to the trial court alleged that the children were sedated with melatonin and that there was a lock on the family's refrigerator, suggesting severe abuse and neglect. Although the respondent was appropriate during weekly visits, but of course, right? The children were so afraid of her that they had to be continuously coaxed into participating and even required therapeutic intervention to facilitate visits. I can imagine. You finally away from her. You're starting to tell people who actually can do something about it and probably would. And then they're going to say, go in there and sit with her. And no, she controls our world. She puts her hands on us. Are y'all trying to get us to go back? You gonna send us back with her? Like she knows that we telling y'all stuff now. Like no, they don't want to. You shouldn't be trying to make them. I get that you're I guess to some degree, depending on where you're at in this investigation, required to give her a fair shot and all of that. It might be a fly because they will sneak in. All right, so they had to be coached. All right, maybe I should just read and not look away again. Okay, firsthand. A lock on the refrigerator. Okay, yeah. He corroborated the allegations, claiming he witnessed abuse firsthand. Additional evidence submitted to the trial court alleged the children were sedated with melatonin, and there was a lock on the family's refrigerator, suggesting severe abuse and neglect. And although the respondent was appropriate during weekly visits, the children were so afraid of her that they had to be continuously coaxed into participating and even required therapeutic intervention to facilitate visits. Now, respondent also minimalized the reasons for the court's involvement by avoiding taking responsibility for actions, choosing to blame others instead. By contrast, the children were doing well in their foster care placement and had bonded to their care. Now, the foster parent took them to trauma based counseling, planned to enroll them in grief counseling because Zanaya is gone, and obtain individual education plans like IEPs to address their academic and mental health needs. Okay, as she should. Good job. And also was willing to adopt them. Accordingly, regardless of what the additional evidence, number one, responded relatedly claims that the trial court denied her the opportunity to adjourn the proceeding, to admit the interview. But she hanging on that interview he did. She wanna use that interview to say he didn't say it here. He didn't say it here. That's how slow you are, lady. That's how slow you are. Because anybody who understands, about abuse and they understand him not saying it there. Or if being asked directly, like we saw in a small clip, did you know this? Did you know that? Did this happen? Did that happen? If he say no in that interview, this is some lady he talked to in an interview without no years of therapy. No, he, we right here at the cusp of they pretty much at this point declaring your sister deceased. So that's where we're at with that, and everything is freshly happening. And even if it was years later, you expect this young man to sit here with you and just be like, yeah, I'm gonna talk about it. I'm telling everything. It's never easy for anybody to talk about this, especially when, as far as he know, at that point, most of this stuff has not even come out yet. So she's retired. She said the courts wouldn't let her put the interview in, okay, into evidence. Said, but the respondent never actually requested an adjournment. She merely claimed that the case was not complete without it. See, that's the thing. You can't just complain about something. You got to know how to do something about it. And in this case, you will have to file it, right? And if you don't file it, just sitting there talking about, well, they need to talk about that interview he did. The interview was gonna tell the whole thing. You can say that all day long till you blue in the face. Ain't gonna do nothing for you. You got to put in for the German. Well, you got a lawyer? No, girl, you should use one of them checks to get you a lawyer. You still would have lost, but hey, hey. She merely claimed the case was not complete without it and requested that the trial court impose a plan in lieu of termination. What kind of plan? You still want to? You said that just do like when they put the cops on pay leave. You want to be on pay leave, so you wanted them to impose a service plan in lieu of termination. You wouldn't be on pay leave. We declined to fault the trial court for not affording respondent an adjournment she never saw. Child, I said you ain't found no paperwork. Okay, and okay, she never saw. That was number 3. All right, so this is number 4, and may have shown there is no error warranting reversal because the trial court's findings were sufficiently supported by the record, and the last word on here is affirm. And this is signed by Christopher M. Trebelak, Thomas C. Cameron, and Andrew J. Levine. And all trio said, girl, bye. Okay? So that's very important information that I bring that out. And this was May 20th of 2026. And we know where we at right now. What's today? June. June the 2nd? May, April. That's my mom, my brother passed. Then May, the month my father passed. June, grandma. Then we got August. This is just not a good time of the year. Mm-mm-mm. So there was something else I wanted to show on this part right here. And then I'm gonna stop right there. Let me see. Oh, the post that she wrote. Shannon had other children she took and adopted. Um, yeah, it just came out. She had a lot of. She was falsely doing foster care and all that. That go to show you they didn't. They just the people wasn't doing their job. Said that's why she fake cried on the stand about her income changing significantly. Ain't that some shit? Your granddaughter, you supposed to be making impact statement because your granddaughter was she gone. And you sit up there, I done lost so much money. Everybody in that position would have. You gotta come to court every day. You at home grieving, whatever. Your world stopped as it was, so you ain't making money. Like you gotta pay to, that's a given for everybody. Why would you get up there and that be what you crying about? Said this implies that she may have already had custody of some of Shannon's children. What was she doing just making them late? Her mom get them for check. This get worse and worse. Okay, now we gonna see. Okay, no, the two children named are the foster kids she adopted. That was Naziyah. Okay, I don't think this person knows. So I was reading that. Um, oh my gosh, so there were others outside foster children. I wonder if CH is buried. No, she didn't have custody of any of those two foster kids from the state. AH and CH are entirely two different children. She had a boy and a girl, both foster children she adopted. She also adopted Naziyah. Oh, so AH and ZH are not Zanaya and Naziyah's brother. They're two other children she adopted. According to what this person, I'm gonna see if anybody else don't come in. I swore Vary's real name is Zavarius, and he definitely went and said Annette was abusing him. First interviews of the time. He even talks about her hitting him so hard in the face that she threw him out the house. And then this sexual stuff, abuse stuff between him and that evangelist man that was Annette's friend. Okay, she's talking about Janiah's brother, Naziyah's brother. Okay, so I was correct. Apparently, that's who we were speaking of in those documents I read. Okay, so y'all seen more interviews? Where are they? Hit him so hard in the face that he bled, and she threw him out. And then this spank abuse stuff between him and that evangelist man that was Annette's friend. He was trying to pay Very for pictures. I seen the text messages myself. So and Annette's brother would be that man we saw on the bed with the beard and his pants open and pulling on his eye and trying to kiss on her and stuff. Annette's brother was a pedo. Her friend was a pedo. Her son-in-law was a pedo, even though he ain't married a hippo. And y'all still convinced that they wasn't selling these children for some sort of favors? Okay, his name is Tavares. I agree with everything else you're saying, but in these paperwork, these are two separate foster children and they're adopted. And they just behind top all this shit. There is no mention of Very in his paperwork. However, I'm not excusing any abuse he may have faced, but just isn't mentioned here. AZ and ZH are two children Annette adopted outside of Naziyah and Barry. The minor's names likely her siblings. TS is 6, so children were banking each other. Okay. These two children began as foster children. She adopted them, so she was still receiving public assistance, hence her whining about her income. But yeah, there is something very tiny I saw. Um, when you stand around looking stupid while a predator is in your home, they will take your children from you. Right. And she got the nerve to try to contest it, man. Get somebody drag her by that wig. Yeah. Adopted children don't get where that's not 100% true. They still can and will give you money for a while and assistance. They still have programs that they will help you take care of the children if you adopt them. Mhm. The two, what was the name of that couple with the little boys, the brothers out in California? I can see their faces, and they changed their name. The state was they took the baby from the mama because her boyfriend had broke his thigh bone with the baby, and the man and his white wife adopted them, and then the boys came missing, and we was looking for them for a long time, and I don't think they ever, I don't think they ever found the boy, but they did go ahead and charge them, and they declared them deceased. Mm. But they were getting money, and they had actually adopted the children, but they stole that girl child. That was it took for Naziyah to pass away before CBS removed the children. Remember, they've been notified 2 years before about the children, and they did. CBS is a broken system, and as far as I'm concerned, I believe CBS too should be charged. Absolutely. I mean, this is it's clear and uncut evidence, not only in this case, but in other cases. The one, oh gosh, this wasn't too long ago. I can see your face too. But her name is just escaping me. She was with the grandma, another sorry grandma like this, and her daughter. The mama wasn't about hitting on nothing, and the daddy really didn't have anything to do with her. But he started coming over to the grandma house, seeing her, and the grandma was letting him be there, be around the child. She was around his age, and that man didn't even really know that girl or nothing. And he went over there one day, one morning, I think, before she was supposed to go to school. And he took and you know, he hurt the girl, right? And he, for some odd reason, cut off her hands, and then he burnt her up in the house. You remember that? Well, he set the house on fire. He didn't burn her up because, of course, you can't do it. That's not gonna burn up a body. But he set the house, and then they caught him. They shot him, but they caught him. Yeah, that bullet went that. And the grandma was just like this one. But they, again, CBS halfway investigated. They was like, we went over there, we talked to her, basically in front of the grandma, and we didn't. It seemed, she had gluten free. Basically, and none didn't look like nothing was wrong to me. So there's that. But the girl's own teacher. was on here, and she was talking about how she was going hard trying to get CBS to help that girl. And I'm just like, if families can will start suing these people and winning like they be doing the cops, I mean that's a start because they should not be able to continue to get away with these neglects, but then they take somebody's children in a heartbeat. You know, at the end of the day, that's not what they should have done. She said, I'm curious about the CPS reports and what was done to satisfy reports. Because if you remember during the preliminary hearing when Annette was asked who lived in her home, she did a really good job of avoiding mentioning that she had two other adopted children in addition to Naziyah. Let me see if I can remember. Did she not say that? Because they would, of course, would absolutely know she's adopted mother. They would absolutely know about any other children in the home. They would know. Uh, so I don't know that she didn't mention it, but I don't know. I'll have to go back and watch it again. That is traumatizing. The lawyer asked her two or three different ways, and each time she would say something different. But not one time did she say she had four adopted children. Very had already moved out as his brother, I'm alleged. But she referred to him when it was convenient. Mm, NH. Sorry. First. So now we know a huge reason she lied to CPS is that JB. Yeah. Thank you for this comment. I remember while we're all discussing this case all this time, and I remember y'all was stressing this part. And I remember the video. I can show it again, but y'all seen the video of um, when they had this birthday party, if that's what you want to call it, for one of the children. And it was about, there was a lot of children there. And it was the Hippo twins and the grandma, probably some other adult. And then Jarvis came there. And you could tell they crazy about Jarvis. And the grandma made sure she scooted to get her way over there to him and asked him where he been, why he ain't been coming around and stuff like that. And in court, her and Shannon tried to make it seem like Jarvis hardly ever came around. Now, Shannon got five children with this man and was actually pregnant when Naziyah went missing from him again. And y'all try to make it seem like you hardly ever saw him. So she was saying now we know a huge reason why she lied to CPS that JB was never in her house. She had been better off saying that as far as she knew, he wasn't ever there unsupervised. But no, she chose the lot bigger, not better. Yeah, because they was questioning her, and they was like, he'll come over there. Da, da, da. And she was pretty much like, well, who does? He come outside, and children go outside like his own children. But which was actually true is that they got kicked out of their apartment they was living in, their cousin's Section 8 apartment that she moved out of and let them stay in it. Which who told her she could do that? Okay. And then the child, I just seen the interview yesterday. The girl came on here and said, yeah, she said this. She said she had Section 8 apartment, and then when she moved out, she decided to let Shannon and her man move in. Now, first of all, Section 8 ain't letting your man move. Much less you just let somebody move in your apartment. It don't work like that. And she said, I was hoping that they would do right by it, take care of it so we can pass it down in the family. Bitch, this ain't your grandma's home that you inherited. It's Section 8. And they got kicked out because they used to fight a lot. So that's when they were staying with my grandma. And if you listen to the phone calls, you hear Shannon talking to Jarvis about her staying with him. with her mom, and they get into it. And at this time, they hadn't yet taken children. About Shannon taking her children to school first, and then coming back. Da 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 da. Her mom ain't taking Rhea, doing this, whatever, whatever. And of course, they would be going to separate schools because Shannon came from over here where she stayed, so her children would be going to different school. And Jarvis was like, him and Shannon was trying to act so hard on those calls, like they were trying to act like role play, as if the narrative that they're giving is the real narrative. So, for instance, when she was talking about complaining about her mom getting mad at her because she took her children to school first, and she had an agreement with her mom for her staying there. I think it was actually a tire bump. It sounded like a truck tire blew, not a gunshot. I think it was a truck. Okay. Um. Yeah, she said her mom came back early or something. She was supposed to be going to work or whatever, and Shannon took her children to school first and came back. She said, I was going to come to take this trip, but my mom came home, she was tripping, and why didn't take this, da da da? Did she try to take them, blah, da da da? And Jarvis was like, oh, yeah, I ain't never really liked you staying in your mama house anyway. Nigga, you was staying there with her too. I mean, he had like, I'm from a military town. I'm gonna say that. That sound like not even a gunshot, and not a tire blow. Because what are the odds it'd be 3 times? That sound like something militant. I'm gonna say that. That's a whole nother topic. What? I hit a fire alarm. So I don't know what it is, but it ain't. It's something. But I'm just telling you what it sound like to me. That sound like. I mean, what would it be? Because we're not near no base over here. But those of us who pay attention, we know what's up, especially the things that they not telling us that we know is going on, right? If anybody else looking like, what the hell was that? Ooh, there's a grandpa right there. I see him in the window. I hear him. So where else that? Because that's right across the street. Oh, my glasses on. Yeah. Child, you ain't heard it from me. Hold on, wait a minute. I need to clean them, but it don't work. It don't work. But how the cops get there so fast? This just happened. This is Atlanta, baby. They everywhere all the time. It's so close. I could actually drive over there, but I mean, I could walk over there too. Everybody in the gym looking out the window. And stuff. That was loud. Did y'all hear it on the stream? Did you hear it? Did you hear it? Maybe it was. It didn't sound like gunshots to me. It sounded like something being fired. But It did sound like gunshot. It sounded more militant. So maybe it was firearm. And it was just a kind that you know, that's pretty powerful. Y'all know I'm gonna find out what happened. It's gotta be at least 10, 20 cops over there. And more than stray dogs. The dogs even coming to see what's going on. The dogs is kind of running around the corner standing like grown folk. Look at what's going on. Like, people, are they cute? Look at them. They all, the dogs is all in the shit. Ah, okay. I can't wait to find out what this was. It's in front of a. Is that a poster? It's so. Because it's like, this lot where I'm at is a little bit elevated from there. And then across the street at a little smaller shopping center. And I'm in front of the gym. Dang. So maybe somebody did get blown away. They wasn't even back to back. Like that would have been a shotty, but it didn't necessarily it may be something related to a shotty because they didn't necessarily sound like a shotgun, but it got some bang for your buck in it, that's for sure. And they were not back to back. The last two were closer together, but they wasn't back to back. Hmm. Okay, let me hurry this up because now I want to know. Wait. Okay, I want to know what. All right. Back to these folks. Okay. From listening to the calls, I think Shannon set Jarvis up on some revenge BS because why would she need to talk to her mom about houses getting hit with warrants? Her mother can't stop that. And I didn't know Frank went down for RAPE before either. Oh yeah, that's a whole nother story. Let me unplug this and plug it down because this is the phone I'm gonna have to take with me. It's about to go. Damn. Yeah, Frank, that's a oof, child. Yeah, I ain't even gonna start doing videos on the Frank situation. Not yet. I probably would eventually because Frank is, you know, there's a lot. Okay, baby girl may have went looking for Jarvis and ran into Frank at the building. Girl, I hate when y'all do this. Get out the group. If you new in the group and you don't really know nothing, don't be coming in here trying to speculate. Just read, hit the like, say rest in peace, say prayers for the family. Just give some positive supporting thoughts. Don't come in here trying to act like you solving something and you going on some other stuff. This one chick on the other post I was just on, she did good. She told us, she said, she wrote this big old long post in the group. And old girl said, honey, you got a lot of catching up to do. Don't y'all come in here with all that BS and you don't know shit from shit because your ass don't you don't know. You just don't dive deep in all that and then you just finding out about this and now you coming in a group and you trying to figure some stuff out.
Ain't no she went looking for Jarvis when she was with Jarvis. Okay, let's start and stop there, and that's just easy. That's easy. You should know that part. Everybody know her and King Jarvis and Naziyah was together at the shop. The sister came to the shop. She saw uh Naziyah there, and Jarvis said, "Oh, that's King niece." Okay, she left. They had King's mom-in-law car trying to fix it. And I don't know what they was doing, but they ended up saying, "Oh, we couldn't fix it," and we took it back to her. Desire rode with us. We took her back her car, and Jarvis drove the truck behind us. And then, we all rolled back. And then he claimed he left. Right? Y'all saying he was on house arrest, ankle monitor, so he had to report home. So, um, and that's supposed to be. That's all. The last anybody can say about where Naziyah was. Her and Jarvis was left at the shop. Everybody know this. So why you coming in here talking about she? The story is that okay. Well, not the story. We got the text messages. She Jarvis told her, "Hey, get off the bus. I like you just walk in, whatever, and I'm gonna pick you up. I'm gonna pick you up." She got off the bus. She started walking. Him and King was out. They saw her. Hey, they go Messiah. He pulled over, get in the car, okay, and then that's what they walked. They all was together. So stop it. Okay, now they talking about Frank. Uh, Frank. Right, said how when she was last seen with Jarvis. Like, yeah, shut up. Okay, and then you want the nerve to be sporting my sunflower. Get your ass out of here. So the other children were siblings. Did Shannon get her children back? She better not get those. That's another thing I want to know too. Are they gonna have they permanently taken Shannon's children? Because when she stood in court, she said, "My children's taken from me temporarily." So if part of their deal was that they gave Shannon back her children, listen, all hell gonna break loose because ain't none of us going for that. So we need to make this a priority too. To see what's up. Because I know hell, good and hell. They not gonna give her none of those children back when she let that daddy, first of all, beat it daddy, and then come in here and do all that. And then he's convicted of all the things he did to their oldest child. So why is it so hush hush about if she got her children back or not? This is a smoking gun. Why was she not charged? I keep saying, thank y'all. So now y'all see what I'm saying. So now y'all see what I'm saying. There's no possible way I can understand CPS dropped the ball and it went under the radar. That happens all the time. Okay? But for us to be clear and uncut, and these documents make it clear and uncut that Shannon and her mama and them, who all these other adults, all this time knew that they had these offenders there. They knew that these children were being abused. These children told them. They absolutely knew. Uh, there's no way that these people can just walk away from this situation. And all they did was terminate her rights and temporarily take Shannon's children. Uh, it's impossible. So, And I'm saying to y'all, cops, CPS, all that. This ain't what they want us to see it as. That ain't it. This is some other shit. And I done been down. I done said it over and over. Okay, told him that, didn't do anything. I'm trying to see, because I haven't read this thread yet, so I'm trying to see if there's anything else. So I don't have to come back to it. Another kid in the house. Okay. Um, what are they waiting on to lock all of their asses up? Thank you. They literally are letting them go. It's impossible. But if this is what they're choosing to do and nobody's gonna be like, hell no, then that's what they're gonna do. Okay, it's more to come out, especially with yeah, you already know. And I told y'all, it may take years, but eventually at least one of the rest of these children are going to be speaking. And I'm gonna mention this every time too. Let's not forget the sister, bless her heart. Ugh, I'm gonna have to eat something, some protein or something, cause I got taking emotion. They gonna start talking about this. They can, man. They got books, they got movies, everything. This is a horrible situation, and the horrors them children went through. One of them, at least, is gonna want to one day tell their story. So, and it's all gonna tie into also shedding light on what happened with Naziyah. Um, it took for Naziyah to die before those other children were rescued. That's way too high of a price. Hey, girl, let me like that comment. And this is why I feel they are all given a deal, so the state could convict Jarvis without a body. Okay, I was with you at first, and then the second part of your statement, nope. They had Jarvis without a body without giving nobody no deal. They did not. Let's be clear. Um, all you sisters out here who just uh, none of these women helped this case. Uh, um, None of these women helped this case. I will say it again, God damn it. None of these women helped this case. None of these women came, and when they were talked to and questioned, interrogated, and told everything under the sun and all that, none of these women gave these people what they wanted on Jarvis or anybody. They did not help at all. Did you watch the motherfucking preliminary hearing? No, did you got to watch that? You watched the preliminary hearing, then you know for a fact none of them hoes was telling them anything. The audacity of it all. Mhm. Watch it if you haven't watched it, and then you won't never say that shit again. Them people didn't turn no evidence. They didn't help the case at all. They wasn't giving them people nothing. Niente. All right? Nothing. Whatever they got, they took and, and found out on their own and took the rest because they was not gonna sit there and help them. None of them. So they all act like they was all on the defense of so much so these mofos is in court acting like they couldn't see Jarvis. You know how they put you on the stand and they be like, do you see the defendant? Where is he at in the courtroom? They make you so it can be clean uncut. When we talk about this man, we say his name, we talk about his actions, everything, we all clear. We talking about that man right there, we talking about that, and that's the same man we talking about. So the grandma, she got up there. They was like, "Do you see Jarvis in the Mr. Butts in the courtroom? Can you point him out to us?" He's sitting right there front at the defending table. She like, "No, I don't see him." Mm. Like, you sure you don't see? Mm-mm, no, I don't. I don't see. Child, I don't see. I don't see nothing. I don't see him yet. I don't know who. She might as well say who we talking about? Who was that? King did the same thing. Psh, I don't see him. And y'all in here in this thread. Oh, King was trying to get away from Jarvis. King and he didn't know nothing about what was going on. If you say that again, I'ma find you. Cause I won't. There's no way King wasn't sleeping with all these children in that shop and had his mattress there in the shop to do it. And even having orgies with children on a damn daily basis in that shop. And his partner that worked there with him didn't know what he was doing. I'm gonna turn into Pinky. Say it again. Say it again. We're gonna have this problem. Say it again. Okay. One of them ran away and was never found. More than one ran away. Even her own children before all of this, who are grown adults now, ran away and never looked back. Hmm. What is this message they sent? 285 is going to be closed between MLK Jr. and Junior Drive and Cascade Road from June the 5th, 7 p.m. through June the 8th at 5 a.m. Child, I don't even know where that's at. What else she got? What else she got? Okay. All right. Okay. Mhm. All right. Back to this. Boom, boom, boom. I gotta do a couple projects for YouTube, and then I'm going in the gym. Actually, I'm gonna get a little bite, a little something, and then I'm gonna, yeah, give me some motion. But once I go in there lift the weights and shit, I'm gonna be good. Uh-huh. Let's see. Oh, her grown children ran away and didn't look back, except for the hippos and yeah, the hippopotamuses. The way this case is going, I wonder if they did something to and with that child, like they did with us. That's a possibility that some were never heard from again. We don't know anything about them like that. We don't know the backstory. We don't know they got surviving family members here. They don't know if they're totally disconnected from the other families. So that if they were to go missing, somebody would be like, okay, you adopted so and so, or you have them in your foster care, and what we ain't seen our loved one. Where is he? Some people, some children don't have nobody. You know, how do we know these children that ran away are out there and okay? And this is she got a long history of this. As was stated, her husband was abusing her own children. So this dark skinned elderly woman can't come in here and sit up in everybody's face like ain't nothing wrong with her or things she did. Mm, so disappointing. Now the way this case is going, I wonder if they did. Okay, you remember at the first what girl? Proofread now. They were trying to say she probably ran off with some boy. Oh yeah, they was trying to say that about Naziyah. Make it make sense. What's some boy? You don't know about? You ain't never heard? Nobody ain't told you nothing? She ain't tried to run away before? You don't know. So all of a sudden there's a boy and she ran away with him. And that's what y'all thought she did? And you didn't call the police? Even I mean, let's say you assumed it. You don't even know what some boy could be. And then you still not call the police? Like, even if she did run off with a boy, you obligated. She's a 13-year-old girl. You supposed to call the police. Okay. That told us right there. And the way y'all was talking about her. Oh yeah, yeah, she out there. She probably with some boy. You know, you gonna tell people on Facebook that, and you got your whole niece missing, you fool. Oh gosh, and these women ain't in jail. You remember at first they were trying to say she ran with some boy. Makes you wonder now with all that's come out. I agree. Plus, there are liars that need to be behind bars. Shannon, also, that baby would still be alive if Shannon, desperate ass, would have never got with the monster. But look at her. Look at her. You know why? She thought Jarvis was fine. Like, ooh, child finding better have me a fine, light skinned man. Hmm. Yeah, baby, whatever you want to do, I got your back. All right, she is Jaden. Another thing, they were stalling to get their lives together because they knew she was no longer alive. Her cousin, and I'm sure, scare the other children into not saying anything about anything because anything they say can blow the spot up as it did, and it could also help reveal possibly what happened to Naziyah because the children were still there when Naziyah went missing. They were living there. Nobody, the whistle wasn't blown about no abuse or nothing at that time. So I'm pretty sure they saw and heard a lot of things that can help, uh, say, so this probably is what happened like that. Mm. And the way Janaya was going hard, I do think one day she will be definitely talking about things. My cousin said the last ones with her was her mom and her twin and her dad, the monster. When she say that? She ran a tight ship of abuse. Oh, no good witch. So Dre was telling the truth about Marquita's son. Okay, I know what that is. All right, so Annette, mind you, some family members has been doing interviews. Hey y'all. On I'm seeing the comments, but if you're not talking about the case, I'm just kind of keeping it going so I can finish up and get out here. Da, da, da. And that is wicked weird. She had the children terrified of her. The foster system across the world needs a strict protocol in order to adopt these babies. As they already going through situations, everybody should have to qualify to attend therapy sessions with the babies, supervise visits with the adopted parents to see how they interact with each other. Da, 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 da. Annette and Shannon and everyone else need to be charged, period. Yes. And I am going to stop there. Okay, there's so much more I want to talk about with this case. And I'm going to stop there. Let me see. Am I going to leave with any other videos before I go? I will show this one. I'm turning the volume up. I'm going to show it to you, and then I'm going to give my commentary, and then I'll show it to you again. Watch this one. Turn the volume. Hear it as well as what? See it. Okay. We thank you, Father, for our school, our Bible, keep us as the world is known, and for what is like. Okay, that was Naziyah, and she was saying a prayer, and people believe this was Shannon recording her. And of course, she's at school, the lunchroom, right? Now, watch it again. Watch her get up. Watch her speak. What just watch and listen to everything one more time before I say what I need. Oh, let me start. Let me start. I'm trying to get y'all to see it at the beginning. All right, wait. We, we thank you, Father, for our school, our keep us as the world is strong and ready for working on it. Amen. Okay, now let me do this again. Let me see if I can see what she's saying. I feel like she's calling her name. Okay. I'm gonna tell y'all what I saw. I saw what we know is a very pregnant Naziyah getting up. Um, the way she got up. Child, we grew up, there was teen pregnancies all over school. So we seen this 1,000 times. The way she got up, she was clearly leaning over. She's used to hiding it there. You know, then when she stood up, she had her hand under in her clothes, holding her belly, which is what pregnant mamas do. This is said to be Shannon recording. She is calling her name very loudly across the room to tell her to take her hand off of her belly. Now you watch it again. We thank you, Father, for our school, our body, and keep us at the well and strong and fit for work and play. Amen. Now, that's just what I'm saying I see. Okay, and that's gonna be the last video. Let me see what the comments are saying here. See if you guys are saying anything. So precious, but Shannon in the back recording and looking so proud and excited. Fake as hell. So precious. I hate what happened to her. She could have possibly be alive, but well, just keep the faith. Girl, go sit your ass down somewhere. She's not alive. She's long gone, and that's why Jarvis is no longer alive. She has departed this life. Sorry, she's gone. So you got proof of that, girl? What the hell he gonna plead guilty for? Go sit your ass down somewhere. If you truly been following this story, listen to the preliminary hearing. Also, another part of his plea deal was to reveal to your family what happened. Okay, Nobody's talking about the actual video. You know what happened? She was most definitely pregnant. Okay. And looked like she was holding her stomach. That's what I said. Yep. Okay, now that's the conversation I'm looking for. Yeah. Mm, And somebody took a screenshot. Said you can see her belly for sure. Yep. Okay. All right, y'all. So yeah. Good. We thank you, Father, for our school and keep us at the well and strong and fit for working and play. Amen. Amen. We thank you, Father, for our school. Oh, you're gonna do it? You gonna say that? Okay, I got you, baby. Keep us at the well and strong and fit for working and play. Amen. Amen. Get you up out of there. We thank you, Father, for our school, our body.
To keep us active and well strong and fit for working for my amen. Amen. We we thank you, Father, for our school, our body, to keep us active and well strong and fit for working for my amen. Amen.
Um, Speaking of Jarvis too, when people go back and forth about whether or not he offered himself in jail, I will say one thing because when you listen to these calls, I will say this, and then I'm gonna go because I gotta finish it right. I'm gonna say this. Jarvis had his world that he created for himself. I ain't trying to get homeboy no credit because terrible people do terrible things and it just be interesting to us because that's not the life that we live and the life that we think people should live, right? And it be so you just be like, how the hell they get away with this? They get away with that. They did this, did that. And so people study people like this all the time. They study the things they done and da 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 da. Jarvis isn't that different. That's why people are listening to these calls. And we're gonna talk more about that later. But just a reminder, we are pretty much at the end of any of the calls we're gonna hear. Shanitra came on here and said that there's really not many calls left because the police told her that after 2024 that there really wasn't any more calls. I don't believe that they're telling the truth. I believe they said it, but I don't believe they're telling the truth. So all the calls that we really been waiting for, which is calls like around the time of the preliminary hearing, around the time of us seeing the court proceedings start, and after like when he got sentenced and after he got sentenced, they're saying there's no calls. Now they are saying that it is possible that he lost his privileges, but he lost his privileges to video calls and any calls at all as a disciplinary action that could be possible. They say they don't see that though in his records. So what they're trying to say then is that nobody was talking to him. Y'all buy that? We've been listening to these calls all this time, and y'all think that he didn't have nobody to talk to? I'm not saying it's impossible, but I don't think them girls just let him go like that. Uh-uh. Unless he will refuse to talk to him. Because can we see that? I think I can see after seeing Jarvis have his world in the palm of his hands and everybody licking his nuts, cleaning out his booty hole with their tongue. I'm talking about he had it sold in the bag. Everybody loved him, didn't have no problems with him, and they knew what the hell he was in jail for. That's the kind of world he was living in. That's the kind of people he was around. But it was a lot of them in abundance. Everybody knew him. Everybody loved him. He was the type of dude, no, that they the type of dude. And these are the things that are important in this situation. There's a lot of things that are right, but we gotta take from every parts that we can take when it comes to things that happen and shouldn't have happened and things that should have happened and didn't happen. And remember that we're not just talking about this just to be talking about it because there are environments out there just like this, right? And that's what needs to stop. Because if you listen to these calls, like everybody love Jarvis talking on the phone with him like he's Santa Claus, like he's just a popular dude, you know. It, and he gonna be that dude no matter what. And they ain't even paying attention to what the hell people saying. People know. The fact that he in jail for it, about to go to prison, they said you